him straight.
We have to talk about the economy of our country. We have to talk about how we make sure citizens are safe. And today is a democratic moment where the electorate have spoken. I celebrate democracy. We are here to inaugurate President Ramaphosa, and I wish him great success. And where President Ramaphosa will be working in the interests of the people of South Africa, we will give him all the support. Where he's working in the interest of protecting those in the ANC from corruption, we're certainly not going to stand for that. And we will be offering alternatives. And therefore today I want to congratulate the President, and we look forward to the future of this country for all citizens, black, white, Indian and colored. We've got to work together to build this country, and we must bring reform. So today is, if you like, the beginning of the first work day, where we've got to get the job done for citizens in this country so we can create work.
What have your engagements been with him, Mr. Maimane, particularly the President-elect who's going to be sworn in today? What are your discussions around taking South Africa forward? What is he saying to you?
Certainly, I sent the President not only a note of congratulations, but we have to talk about the economy of this country. And part of my engagements with President Ramaphosa, and certainly before and even going forward, will have to be how do we make sure energy is secure in this country so that ESCOM works. Will have to be how do we create a job in every home? How do we make sure citizens find work? We have to make sure we eradicate corruption. We have to ensure that our citizens are safe, and ultimately build a South Africa for all people. One of my great concerns about education in this country, so I'll be engaging President Ramaphosa about how do we ensure Parliament responds to an education program that helps our young people develop as citizens in our country.
What clear program of action as you, as the opposition leader? For instance, you've had your own former leader, Tony Leon, saying that sometimes you need to change tack and not only attack, but work in collaboration. Yeah. What program of action will you be putting forward as the Democratic Alliance, saying, we are coming with this, we can meet you halfway on that? What are those engagements with?
The engagements have to do with jobs and how do we make sure we build capable states. So I think the things that we could all agree on is that our economy needs a lot of work. So we will be defending, for example, the independence of the Reserve Bank. We will ensure that ultimately on an economic plan we help sectors like manufacturing, like tourism. We'll be fighting to make sure visas are easily adjudicated so that more tourists can arrive in this country. I want to speak to the President about how do we help young people. 50% of our youth are unemployed. So I have proposed, he has a YES program, I've proposed a National Civilian Service. So I'd like for us to meet somewhere and say, how do we roll this thing out in a way that municipalities, provincial governments, national governments can work together so that our youth can find work in this country. So there'll be a much better engagement in this regard. And as my call to President Ramaphosa, this must be a season of collaboration. We have ideas that we want to put forward to this country for the interest of all citizens, and so I'll be engaging him in this regard.
Mr. Maimane, after this is the appointment of cabinet. Yeah. As the DA, what will you be looking out for?
Two crucial things. One, let's reduce the size of the cabinet. I have proposed over periods and years that we can run a government of between 15 to 20 ministers. We must get rid of deputy ministers. I don't see the point. We've got to streamline the state. But furthermore, we need some key appointments, and we need a health minister who's not going to be just in the doctrine of NHI, but rather to look at how we can work with the private sector to help in ensuring that we have a healthcare that provides for everybody. Let's look to make the economic cluster much smaller and appoint a Minister of Finance who's competent. I would urge that Tito Mboweni must remain in the post so that he can continue the work of reform that we're talking about. I think that we need a strong Minister of Education who will not listen to unions, because the unions are holding education back in certain instances where they're overly protecting teachers at the expense of students. And then we need to ultimately ensure that we set up a ministry for jobs. I think in collaboration with cities, I would urge that must be a crucial ministry so that we can create work. That's certainly what I would do, and I would urge President Ramaphosa to do likewise.
Mr. Maimane, there's seemingly a vacancy in the office of the Deputy President. Former President Nelson Mandela once offered that position to Mtwana Rapendang and Nkos Mangosuthu Buthelezi. He obviously, in exchange for KwaZulu-Natal, he didn't agree. If President Ramaphosa were to come to you and offer you that deputy presidency post of the country, would you take it?
I think I would serve the people of South Africa best by the constitutional role that is expressed to me as leader of the opposition. Because if government is not held accountable, and government is not, you'll recall, if it wasn't for the DA, President Zuma would still be president. If it wasn't for the role of opposition, we wouldn't be changing the cities that we are. If it wasn't for the role of the opposition, some of the ministers who are coming back in corrupt acts would still be there. So I think I can serve the people of South Africa in that role and ultimately contest for power, because we've got to in 2024 bring change in this nation.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Maimane. That was DA leader Mr. Musi Maimane saying